And we live, and we live. So we're looking at CoinMarketCap today, right? Guys, that $1 trillion market cap looks good on the crypto market. Bitcoin here, guys, holding the gains. As you see, this last week, yes, we know we're going to look into technicals a little bit deeper. Bitcoin definitely pulled back hard this week, but 7 days still holding positive. Ethereum is down, however, but as you see, most of the market here, Polkadot with a nice jump today. Most of the market around those under 10% gains from last week. We were looking at 50, 60, 70, 80% gains across the board. So a little bit calmer. And yes, we have seen that pullback, right? And so I want to get right into the technicals today before we even do fundamentals. Because what happened this last week, guys, it was obvious if you were looking at the chart and following the daily, following the higher time frames. This move that happened didn't surprise me, didn't surprise a lot of people because, you know, what comes up must come down, right? Markets can't just trade up forever. So let's take a look at this here on the daily time frame. And I want to point out a really interesting spot that when I was looking at Bitcoin that basically gave me the confirmation that yeah, we were gonna pull back, and it's looking like 30,000 is still holding. But what I want you guys to notice here in this run up here, right? We're looking at a daily time frame. So when we got to 20,000, we definitely did struggle, right? The initial time when we were going to breach those highs, looking at these daily charts, yeah, we did stick here for almost and Bitcoin, I think it's crazy, right? How fast price moves. But right here, yes, we did get stuck. But then I want you to notice here how when price took off from 20,000, 17 and some change to be exact, from 20 to 40, that double up. I want you to look at how price grew right here, right? It was so dang bullish that we really never had any bearish candles. We had one bearish candle here, one bearish candle here, one here, one here. We had 4 total bearish candles, one right here, 5, depending on the broker you're looking at. But all of those bearish candles were immediately usually followed by a huge green candle, engulfing green candle, right? And so the price action from 20,000 to 40,000 was so bullish that when we got up here to 40,000 and we got this bullish bearish candle and then we followed it by a consecutive bearish candle, right? That to me screamed very, very bearish, and that gave us that idea that potentially that Bitcoin could fall, right? And of course it could, because we've been waiting for that for any day now, because Bitcoin has been just on a tear, right? If things just keep going up and straight up, you should potentially, you know, as a smart investor, realize, okay, this might eventually come back down. When is that going to happen? How far is it going to happen? Right. And so with Bitcoins, yeah, we're going to see these pullbacks, right? We're going to see these pullbacks in the market, and these are totally normal. They're actually very healthy. When we don't have pullbacks, that's when things get a little bit alarming, right? When we're riding on just on this rally here from 23 to 40 with maybe 2 bearish candles, that's when things are like, okay, yes, we have a reasonable expectation that price should fall, right? And then what I want to point out here is when things actually do start to fall, getting that third daily bearish close and then a fourth one, right, definitely is giving us major bearish indications here of just Bitcoin pulling back. And that's what we like to see, honestly. It's giving what we, for us dollar cost averagers, for the people who are building portfolios and investing into these assets, right? These are your opportunities to be getting your Bitcoin at a discount, right? This is why we buy every single week. And then even on weeks like this is where we can double down our dollar cost average, do a little bit more than we're used to doing, right? Because we still want to be getting in, we still want to be building our stacks, but these are the opportunities, guys. And that's why we call this webinar Buy the Dip, right? Because what I want to show you guys here is the Wall Street psychology chart. Let me pull this up. And if you guys have seen this before, you know what I'm talking about. And maybe if you guys have traded for some time, right? I think everyone's timeline is different and how you learn these lessons of these emotions that you're going to feel in the market. But this is a very relatable graph of your emotions, but it also looks like a very relatable graph when it comes to price, even Bitcoin's price, right? If you guys know that Bitcoin chart, when it runs up to 20,000 and pulls all the way back, right? And these are the emotions that people go through, that the market goes through, and this is what drives the market, guys. This right here. If you've never seen this before, take a screenshot write it in your notes, because this right here is something to be studied and understood, especially in this crypto market, right? So I want you to understand as well that this graph of these emotional cycles are also, what's the word I'm looking for? They exist within each other. They are fractal, right? They exist just like on the higher time frame analysis. We have the big time frame, we have the big cycle, and we have cycles within the cycles, right? And so the same thing happens here. When in fact, we've just gone through a very short time frame cycle, and we're, in my opinion, right about here, especially with today's rally that's going right now, we're in disbelief. There are some people who still think, wow, Bitcoin price fell. Bitcoin's it's falling now. It's at 40,000. When I went to 30, well, no. And you got articles out there saying, "Oh, Bitcoin's roller coaster ride should be, you should be cautious." CNBC front page, right? You have this is from the Guardian, warns of risky crypto investing. Bitcoin tumbles, yada, 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 right? And so this is like kind of, you can get the sentiment of, I guess, the masses by observing the things that the masses are going to be reading, which is the news, right? Also just, being involved with the crypto community and just reading forums, things like that, you can get that sentiment and feeling of people. And yeah, like I said, I think right now, let me pull that thing back up. We definitely, this is a small cycle, right? This is a cycle within the cycle, but let me split screen these things and show you guys, line these two up, the actual Bitcoin price graph and what I'm showing you guys here with the psychology. And you guys are gonna be like, damn. So let's get this on a 1 hour here. How about that? Yeah. So this right here. Okay. There we go. Is this right here, right? On a shorter basis, smaller time frame basis, because there's cycles within the cycles, right? So on a general, just crypto as a whole rally right now, I think we're honestly like in here. Like we're just getting started with this rally that's going to go on for the next year, right? Until the end of 2021, beginning of 2022. We're in this part of the thing, but in a local cycle, like within this cycle, you have this cycle, right? And so this cycle right here, do you guys not see it? Right? You have the people getting here, oh my gosh, 40,000, 42,000, holy cow, wow, crazy. And it really slows down, and it's just like, yeah, we just need to cool down for the rally. Everyone's drawing their ascending triangles, everyone's drawing their wedges, right? And then we fall down, and then the market panics, and people are, oh my gosh, should I sell? Right? You're getting articles on the news, right? And then everyone here is like, oh my gosh, I don't know, right? And it's been chilling here for a couple of days. But if you know, this right here, these lows, depression, when nobody's talking about it, when everybody's scared, that's the time to be greedy. This is Warren Buffett said. When the market is fearful, time to be greedy. When the market is greedy, time to be fearful, right? And so you're going to see these cycles, they play out over and over and over, and emotions, these drive these markets, right? The psychology of these markets, something that repeats itself. And like I said, let's pull it out and let me show you the big picture, and I'll show you where we're at. This thing right here is the same. It's the same thing. Look at, you have the euphoria. Oh my God, I'm a genius. 20,000. Everyone's losing their mind. Like, right? It falls back down. Holy cow. I don't know. Right? And then it hits here and it's depression. Nobody's talking about crypto. No one's talking about Bitcoin. Right? And you have that same cycle again play out right here. Hits the high, falls down, crashes down, recovers. Right? So you have the cycle within the cycle. And like I said, I think personally on the big time frame on this new rally up, we're just getting into this territory. We're getting into belief. Time to get fully invested, right? I'm fully invested and I will continue to be. But guys, I hope that makes sense. I hope that you're getting understanding from that, And like I said, if you've never seen that Wall Street chart, break that out because it's so powerful. It's so powerful. Oh yeah. If you know, right? Crypto Picasso's, the G. Guys, gotta shout out to the DCX Academy. I've actually personally switched to the DCX package. I've always been an FRX package customer at IM Academy, but it's really cool that our platform gives you go live essentially for everything with most packages. And so I've generally gone through most of the FRX academies, and so the DCX getting you swipe coin, getting you all the DCX go lives, guys, it's definitely worth a consideration. If you're in the same situation I was in. So yeah, DCX lit, Crypto Picasso talking about it. Guys, Crypto Picasso's been calling these moves like crazy. He's like crazy, right? And so, yes, we're getting some questions funneling. I love it. I love to see it. I have some other things I want to talk about, but I'm always game for questions. What's your next all-time high target? Um, Let me actually pull out. I dropped this chart on my trading view. My trading view, guys, all socials, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. You can just find me on Jordan the Savage. But I did a full-on breakdown of Bitcoin and kind of what I expect us to see for the long term, right? And just basing it off the halving cycles, guys. So back in, this is how Bitcoin moves. This is that Wall Street psychology, right? We take off, we get fear, we get depression, we get excitement, and it takes off again. And then the same cycle repeats, right? But it also coincides directly with the halving event that occurs in Bitcoin. So could be correlation, could be causation, right? They don't imply each other, but essentially the idea is that Bitcoin supply, miners create Bitcoin. Right now they create about, what is it, 6 Bitcoin every 10 minutes or something like that. They create 900 Bitcoin a day. Originally it started at 50 Bitcoin every 10 minutes. And so every 4 years that amount gets cut in half, right? Which is why Bitcoin becomes more and more scarce, right? And so that event, the first time that happened was right here. And you saw price over the next 14 months after that happened, because it's very obvious when you stop making as much of something, it becomes more valuable, and the market reacts until it finds a new price point for it. It settles down, finds support, and again does the same thing, because it's a cycle. It repeats, right? First time that happened, we go from $10 to 1,200. We increased 10,000% over 14 months before we then consolidate, right? Before the hype wears off, before the FUD sets in, everyone's fear and scareful, and they don't believe anymore. Those who know held on because they understood, well, in 4 more years after this date, it's going to get cut in half again. And when that gets cut in half again, the market finds out and realizes it, and it sets them to the price. It's going to skyrocket. Bitcoin is literally designed to go up. That's what it's designed to do. And so this time it went from a local minimum of $460 all the way up to $19,700 over 18 months. And that occurred at that was 4,000% growth. So it took 18 months this time to create that new high. But again, you can see as soon as we break the previous highs, we essentially just go parabolic. Like you see these moves of Bitcoin, to really put these in perspective, it's straight up and then sideways for a while, straight up and sideways for a while. And now we are experiencing the exact same cycle occurring, and we're right in the thick of it, right? The best time possible to get involved in crypto would have been the Corona crash, right? But even this summer, even now, because if you look at when it broke the all-time high and pulled back for the first time last time, it still rallied from 16 all the way to 20,000, right? And so my predictions just for Bitcoin for within the next, I predict by this year, by August through December, I expect this to be at $150,000 to $300,000, and that's a conservative estimate considering that the past we've done over 4,000% and we've done over 10,000%. So that would be even less of a growth than we had in the past. And at this time, you could actually reasonably predict that Bitcoin would grow more in this growth cycle than it has in the past, because of the fact that you have things like this. You have Grayscale, a full-on institutional investment firm completely dedicated to getting people onboarded into crypto. You have PayPal now running their own crypto, custodian services, wherever you can buy it on there, you can sell it on there. I don't, because you can't withdraw it from there, right? You have, whoops, I just typed in PayPal, trying to talk and type at the same time. But you have insane institutional adoption right now. And these last years, guys, this was not PayPal. This was not Twitter. I mean, this was not Jack Dorsey and Square. This was not Grayscale. This was not potentially BlackRock. This was your, yes, there's some people with some money in here, but not institutions. So this time around could be a lot different, and we could grow a lot more. And so these could be seen as very conservative price targets. Actually, to be perfectly honest, I'm very, very well confident that these will hit. it'd be awesome if they get destroyed, right? That'd make me happy. I would love to be wrong. Please prove me wrong, Bitcoin, right? Um, and that's the thing about Bitcoin, guys. And we're really starting to see it, and that's why with these pullbacks, understanding them and really taking advantage of them, because as we saw in the past, I want to show you guys this daily run, like we were looking at before. We did get a bit of a slowdown and a pullback from 20,000 back to 16. That was a great opportunity. We stuck there. We got to 40, pulled down to 30, but in all those levels in between, there really wasn't a lot of opportunity for that pullback, for that dollar cost averaging in comparison to what we were doing the previous run. Let's pull out that daily. Let's get back here, right? Oh, that's not it. It's way back here. My bad. In comparison to my bad. What we were doing in the past, right? This is the previous Bitcoin cycle. And the previous all-time high, remember, was around $1,100, $1,200, right? So when we first hit the high, look at how hard Bitcoin pulled back then, right? Look at this sort of consolidation. Look at this sort of pullbacks, right? Hitting the high, really selling off strong for a few days here, selling off again. And then even within here, you had multiple opportunities. You had months right here. You have a period from May to August where Bitcoin's in a range of $2,000 to $1,800, $3,000, $1,800 before making that next triple up from 1,800 to 46, right? So in the past, there was much more opportunity to accumulate Bitcoin because there was a much smaller amount of liquidity buying it. There was a much smaller amount of liquidity fueling this bullish action. There's much smaller orders being made. And so when you look at that run all the way up to 20, yeah, we got there in quite a crazy fashion, basically from the end of November straight up, right? But there wasn't that, there was these significant pullbacks, and you can even see it on the weekly. This is where it really, really stands out when you're comparing the two, because guys, we can't compare Bitcoin to any other asset. You can't compare this to any other market. It doesn't work like any other market. It's completely new. The only thing you compare Bitcoin to is to itself. And so, but if you look at these pullbacks here, look how many pullbacks we had, opportunities we had, essentially. So let's consider the start of the bull run when we break the highs, right? We broke the high and pulled back. You have a whole month of pulling back here, whole 2 months. That's what we looked at right here, right? And you have a whole another month of pulling back here. And then you have one last opportunity right here to really get those snipes, right? You're talking about accumulating your money into the market. But looking at it this time around, guys, we haven't even printed a bearish candle. I'm sorry, we have 2 candles here when we got stuck at 20K, but we haven't printed a single bearish candle yet, right? And that's just, for me, it's showing that like those opportunities are most likely these wicks, right? And that's why this sell-off here is going to be really interesting to see. This weekly close here, guys, keep an eye on this for your own charts and for your own analysis for your portfolios, just to understand it, and learn, because that's how you learn, guys. You gotta like stay on it, right? And like watch and predict and understand, okay, if this happens, I predict this to happen. And if you're right, repeat. But watch this weekly close. Watch this weekly close on Bitcoin here, because if we do close bearish, with this wick here, this doesn't really alarm me. But if we're closing back down to here, engulfing this candle, yeah, that's very interesting. But potentially here, we're already pulled all the way back. We could even close bullish, which means that I don't think we're getting much more of a pullback from here, and we're going to the next target, which would be 50, right? 50, 50, 50 is the next target that we're looking at Bitcoin. And it's from especially the price action that we're seeing. Like I said, having that big scare this year, or this week, sorry, having that big scare this week, where price pulled back and pulled back fast. And then you have major institutions releasing articles. It's risky. It's dangerous, right? And we really got into this kind of emotional cycle, at least on a very short time frame this week. It would make sense to me for us to just continue going now, right? Because by the time most people realize, holy crap, no, that was just a pullback where we're going, it's already gone, right? And so, especially with this daily close looks so good, that mitigation. I know you guys pointed that out right away when we looked at this chart. 4 hours getting really in here to Bitcoin. This is looking good, right? Well, this 30K level was the key level, and seeing how we played out here, there was a crazy snipe that happened on there if you really get in there. off of one of these candles here in a 15-minute, right? Guys, Bitcoin does follow smart money, but that's not what we're here to do here. You have Crypto Picasso for that. You have Curtis Cobain. You got Swipe Coin. They're freaking amazing. I take those trades, guys. Like, it's good stuff, guys. Definitely check out DCX if you haven't. But yeah, it's looking like Bitcoin's ready to rally, to go create that new high, right? If we do come back here down to 30, I honestly would expect us to go back even a little further, potentially back down to 25. But that's a scenario to consider later once we get more evidence. The evidence to me right now is showing the opposite. It is showing to me that it looks like we're going to continue higher this going into next week. Like I said, this weekly close here, that's the big deal. That's the real big deal to watch here for Bitcoin. We'll see. Well, we got to see how that finishes out. But it's 6:26. Man, my face is dry. I was snowboarding all day. I got a little sunburn. But I see we got some questions in the chat. Y'all think that's right? So many buying opportunities. What happens to the orphan Bitcoin? That is a great question. So, guys, it's funny because some people know about it, some people don't. But there's always a story about it, and it kind of reminds you of like how Bitcoin works. And like, Bitcoin is a decentralized network, guys, right? There is no Bitcoin headquarters. There's no Bitcoin CEO. Like, there's no Bitcoin president, So essentially the network runs itself. The people run the network. Well, but the thing with this, there's no central authority, is that, if you lose your password, if you lose your keys, who do you contact to reset it? Well, you can't. The whole point of creating this digital blockchain or this global blockchain for a financial system is that it's very secure and that you can't change it, that no one does have the authority to change it, right? But that's the trade-off, is that this immutability and this ultimate security and this ultimate network that can be basically a truth ledger, which is, the implications of that are huge, by the way, not just for money, but money is obviously the first application of it, just to have a global record of truth, not controlled by central authority. The trade-off of that is that, yes, that you have to take your assets and your keys into that's your responsibility. You have to take that very seriously. With great power comes great responsibility. And so there are a lot of people that have lost their passwords to their Bitcoin, and it's gone. You can't get it back. They actually estimated it almost as much as, I don't want to. I'm pulling a number out of my head right now, but I want to say it was a good amount. Like, so there's only 21 million Bitcoin in supply. That's the max supply right now. There's about 18 million in circulation. I've heard numbers of 2 to 3 million Bitcoin being lost forever. Like, that's gone. Like, people haven't touched it. They can't get it. Whatever, it's gone. And so, what does that do? 10%, 2 million, right? Of 10% of 21, that's 2.1 million. Yeah, that's sucks for them, but on a big scale, it's a lesson to be like, okay, if you're gonna get involved with these things, definitely learn from these other people. And really take, if you need to write your password down in multiple places, do it. If you need to give it to someone you trust so they have a copy as well, do that. Do what you got to do. But in the grand scheme of the economics of Bitcoin, that means that there's less Bitcoin than people think there is. Which does what? Guys, Bitcoin, like I said earlier, is designed to go up. To tune in your song. It's designed to go up. I'm about to write your shit down. Yeah, you better. No, I was like, I'm serious, because mine is written down in my safe. How can we protect ourselves with hackers from Bitcoin? So, this is not definitely an area of my expertise. I'm no I'm not into cybersecurity. I'm not got the greatest understanding. I do what other people have told me is the most secure things, right? And so, with your Bitcoin, don't ever. Okay, number one thing I do know though is to never, ever, ever, ever write your private keys like in an email or on your computer or digitally. Don't, like, those keys. If you have them stored somewhere or anything, a hacker gets to that, they got your crypto, right? So as long as no one can get your keys, no one can essentially get your crypto. They could try to blackmail you, do all these things, but that's only if they have your information, right? And so with Bitcoin, understand that that should give you faith is that if you have your keys and you're the only person that's ever seen those keys and have them written down on a piece of paper and you have it stored away, nobody else knows them, nobody else gets your crypto. If you have your key, if you like emailed your keys to somebody, then come on, right? So with this digital security, that is the ultimate step that I've learned and I understand is that taking your keys and putting them on a physical piece of paper and nowhere else. That is like the ultimate way to protect your crypto because if nobody else has that, they can't get your crypto. These are great questions though. These are really, really good questions. I love it. I love it. Anybody else drink coffee at like 6:30 at night? Sometimes I gotta. But wow, we got 61 people on here. Yeah, guys, keep the questions rolling in. I love it. I love it because I know a lot of people sometimes are on different levels when it comes to crypto, understanding what's going on, right? And just to recap, for some of the people that are maybe new, brand into the session, what we're doing here every Wednesday is we're going over the market. We're looking at what happened in the last week. We're talking about big events, because what we're doing here is we're building understanding and doing the work to dollar cost average our way into this market and building a portfolio. So we buy and we invest every single week. That's what I recommend. Right? Don't invest what you can't. Don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Can someone track a hacker down? Like people get arrested or it's in a regulation yet? I guess it would depend on the country. So coffee and a bang addict. I had a pina. Oh my God, Marcel, you said he had a pina colada. He had a pina colada bang. But okay, so Pedro, I think that's Pedro. So can someone track a hacker down? Well, yeah, but most hackers are pretty damn smart, and so they know how to protect their footprints, right? They know how to like kind of disguise themselves. So most hackers are the ones tracking other people down. So hackers usually prevent themselves from getting tracked down. But yes, they can actually. The guy who created Silk Road, Ross Ulbricht. This session is all about everything, guys. This guy, he actually was the guy who created Silk Road. And the first time I ever heard about Bitcoin was in a college dorm room. Classic story. Like someone showing me, yo, look at this site. You can buy look at all the shit you can buy, right? And it's like, yeah, it's anything you want, like drugs, guns. But you got to access it through the dark web. In order to pay for things on there, you had to pay with Bitcoin because you can't put your credit card on there, right? It's gonna block. And so some of the first people that used Bitcoin were people that wanted to get around government blocks and regulations, just like the same with the internet. The first people that wanted to use the internet were people that wanted to get around existing infrastructure. And this guy actually, Ross Ulbricht, set up basically an exchange or like a marketplace, like an eBay, called Silk Road. And you can buy anything you want, and you paid for it with Bitcoin. And that's the first time I ever saw Bitcoin. It was at like $10, 2013. So it was crazy. But this dude is sitting his life in jail. So the end of that story is that, yeah, this guy got caught. Essentially, I think someone actually tried to get a hitman on the website. Someone ordered one, and he was associated with it. So he basically had I think he took ownership of it, or claimed ownership of the website. So that they clapped him. They tracked his ass down. It was all through crypto. You can't do that with Bitcoin. You can figure out whose Bitcoin address is whose eventually with no tracking. So it's insane. It's insane. So it doesn't matter if someone has your wallet address as long as they don't have your keys. Yes, exactly. So you have public keys and private keys, and so it's similar to email. We think about it just like email. If someone has your email address, totally cool. Anybody can send you anything to your email address. You don't care. Same if anyone has your crypto wallet address, like same shit. Like, oh, I'll post mine on a billboard. Like, you want to send me some Bitcoin? Go ahead. Like, it doesn't. You can totally put your public address out there, and be fine. And then your private keys there. Those are the ones that are private, right? You don't share those. First call on this call. Eager to learn. What videos do you recommend for a new like me? Yes. Yeah, guys. Sorry, I didn't have as much prepared as I usually do. I've been super busy this week. Snowboarding mostly, so not the best excuse, but it's been crazy. Honestly, I went shopping this week, guys. I hope you did. We can do I'm going to go over some altcoins as well, but I love these questions because I don't usually do too much time for questions. So if you guys got them, I'll keep going on. But this guy, Caesar, this guy, this is your guy. If you want to just like man, like what is this stuff? Like why is it so important? Like if you want to understand this crypto and like why the fuck is it so important on a deep level, like really get that fundamental understanding beyond just like the technicals of the price, this this will blow your brains. This guy is so smart in the way that he understands technology in the world and the way he can present it on a very digestible level. And these books, like you will learn so much and you'll gain such a, I think it will increase your like desire to learn more about crypto because it'll genuinely interest you. At least it did for me. Like these books blew my brain. So these are the books I always recommend people. There's 3 volumes now. Actually, I have the 3rd one sitting right next to me, right here. Um, Oh yeah, I got all 3, of course. Andreas is the GOAT. This one, mastering Bitcoin, mastering Ethereum, those are very, 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 very technical. If you're not a computer scientist, don't bother. But this is Andreas for people who speak English. So this is Bitcoin for yeah, that's the best place I would go for new people. That stuff's so good. Stuff was so good. Dark web, first time I ever heard about. Yeah, yeah. Crazy, man. If only would have known. If someone would have told me back then, like probably wouldn't have been open to it. They didn't. Everything happens for a reason. But I literally only thought Bitcoin was just used to buy drugs online. I didn't know it was a completely decentralized financial system that was going to completely disrupt the centralized banking system. Like no one told me that. Shit. If somebody would have, man, maybe we wouldn't be here right now. 2013. Oh my god. Imagine if you bought a Bitcoin in 2013. I was a freshman in college, so um, I wasn't buying things. I wasn't putting things in my money into good things, mostly things that would be gone by the end of the night, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, I looked at Bitcoin here, $100, and that under $100. Imagine that, guys. One night out, instead you put it into Bitcoin. And that's even where we're at now, guys. It's crazy. Like a lot of people will talk to me and they say, I don't have money to invest. Oh, I'll invest when it comes back down, and like a lot of people, I'm sorry, I don't you guys give me permission every week, it's in my name. I don't be savage here, but a lot of people, have been watching the session. I started doing these sessions regularly back in summer. I've been watching the session every week. These are the weekly candles. And every week of these candles is a session, and every session I'm telling you guys buy Bitcoin, dollar cost average in. And some people are finding excuses, I don't got the money, I don't got, you gotta spend on this, but it's crazy. Like your opportunity here to invest in this market, it's I'm not trying to make you guys give you FOMO, but I'm telling you guys, take some freaking action. Like because if you're waiting, you'll be waiting forever for this thing to come back, and you look at every single one of these candles just continually week after week growing, that's something I'm glad I'm going to be pouring my money into. And, every single week I'm going to continue to pour more. And that was the funny thing. A lot of people ask me this week, Joe, should I sell it? Are you selling? I'm like, no, dude, I'm buying more. I'm buying more. What you mean? Every week we're buying more. We're continuing to buy more. But let's dive into the altcoins. Let's look at some of what our favorite altcoins are doing. See what Ethereum's doing. Same thing on Ethereum. We did break that $1,000 level. You got a nice little pullback here, dude. Guys, ETH is looking primed to rally past that all-time high here at 1426. That could definitely happen by the next time we're on a call together, guys. We broke the streak. We broke the streak. We broke the streak every single week, guys. We've been getting on at all-time highs, but. And they'd be the first ones out on Friday night. Exactly. I kind of lost that rant. I was tangent on that a little bit, but yeah, guys, if you can even start, it's crazy with Bitcoin. You can start with $50, $20, $100, right? But yeah, ETH looking good, holding that $1,000 level, guys. The whole levels on crypto, like the quarters are ridiculous, and I'm not using them like I'm buying and like taking trades off of them, but like when they hold the level and you can see the smart money things happening at the levels, like yeah. So Chainlink, it doesn't quite look like we're getting down to $1,000 anymore. I freaking I call it trade when we were up here for this level right here. It's on my trading view if you guys want to check it. But yeah, we definitely smacked the shit out of that. And yeah, that $1,000, you getting ETH at $1,000 is a that's a steal to me. I think 1,500 is a guarantee. That's 50%. And 2 grand should be coming soon. So it's still double up potential, really easy on ETH, and they could go higher and higher, honestly. But yeah, we're just gonna do something like short term, medium, medium. That's ETH. Let's jump and look at Link. Where the Link Marines at? I know there's a lot of Chainlink fans in here. Chainlink, we're looking so good, especially after we broke that structure here, right? We dipped back under that 10. That was a Christmas flash crash. Hope you guys took advantage of that. You had another crash here. Here's your pullback. Look at this mitigation off the structure. Like these cryptos are clean and they're technical. It's like especially this 4-hour structure. Look at this here. So this is what I had pointed out in the chat the other week. We were looking and waiting for Chainlink to give the break above this level. It did immediately after giving a pullback opportunity, continue to rally. And then again, you had your opportunity this week. You had your opportunity this week to get Chainlink at $12, $13, along with your usual dollar cost averaging, and Chainlink is looking prime. I got that target up at $50, 50 bangers. Cardano, I'm really liking Cardano. It's growing on me more and more. This thing just making higher highs, higher lows. Looking great. Someone had asked for, I think there were some players at dot USD. Look at that, guys. Oh man, this is one I didn't capitalize on, guys. Anybody capitalize on dot? Anybody scoop some dot? Best place and lowest fee. Lowest fee, probably I'm saying. I mean, in the US, Santana, we're like kind of limited. I use Cash App to buy a Bitcoin. But I do enjoy Coinbase because I can dollar cost average into alts. So Cash App and Coinbase are kind of our only options. Yeah, they're funny. I love you guys. Yep, that's where I buy Bitcoin. Cash App. But yeah, guys, look at this. Look at this. I didn't capitalize on this. I really wish I would have. I was looking at this, just destroyed this liquidity here, filled your inbounds, took these lows, and we were rallying. But yeah, Polkadot at $10 this looks decent, even though we had that opportunity to accumulate at 5 for a minute. But you see how these whole levels, you see how like this is where the manipulation comes. It's like we play off 5 straight to 10. At 10, we get a rejection. Now we're right back to it. 25 is the next target on dot. I'm not gonna run through all of these. This thing, I have something to point out for you guys who are still considering holding that. Yeah, so Grayscale. I don't really look into these articles more than just looking at them on Cointelegraph. I trust that they have some sort of vetted these. I'm not diving into Grayscale's like accounts and their freaking Excel sheets because there was an article about this last week about them dumping XRP and XLM, and then another article came out and said that was false. But this is a second or third article I've seen about them. Guys, I just think there's much safer plays out there, but there's a lot of opportunity in crypto. Almost everything's going to pump, but some things definitely carry much more risk than the rest. The whole market is essentially risky, but this one is especially. So that's my little take on that. This is interesting. I thought, guys, I'm gonna get back to the alts, but Joe Biden, gotta love him. Soon to be potentially a new president, if there is another president. If you know, you know. A new SEC chair. Make sure you understand Bitcoin and crypto. This will be huge, guys. It's funny. They're sending out articles of Bitcoin is risky. Bitcoin is not a good investment. But we're going to bring in someone who knows about crypto, and the banks are all making cryptos. Guys, study this shit. Study this shit. Buy the fear. Buy the fear. Yo, is this Bitcoin? I think this is actually Bitcoin's chart. Bitfinex, yep. Like it literally fits the Bitcoin chart to a T. It applies itself over and over. I kind of jumped over to that stuff. Let me get back to these. Oh, I must have closed out that tab. Let me get back to these altcoins. What about Exodus? Exodus is a great wallet. I have an Exodus myself. It's a very good beginner wallet. if you're not willing to invest quite right away into a ledger. Yes. These are our favorite EFI projects. Yes, Exodus is the one you want to do. Let's look at. We already looked at Chainlink. Did we not? No, we didn't. Yeah, we did. We already looked at Chainlink. Aave. Oh my God, Aave just keeps going. This thing just keeps on going, guys. We called that low on December. Your opportunity there. We had a bunch of opportunities to get in here at 100. Aave just keeps on chugging. This thing just keeps on chugging. And this is like, guys, these targets I have right here, I'm gonna be taking off 10% of my stacks. Mostly a lot of these altcoins, I'm gonna be looking to take back my initial investments on them at these targets. So that's kind of how I've been going about it. Taking out if I can take out my like initial investment, the rest is it's house money, right? It's like it's a moon ticket, and I'm going to be continuing to scale out these profits. But the altcoins I always talk about and the altcoins I mentioned last week, if you missed that, guys, my YouTube is right here. This recording, all my recordings, I always put it on my YouTube. Doing a little shameless plug right here for myself. Just at Jordan LaSavage. Just type in my name on YouTube, you'll find me. And I went over last week top altcoins for 2021. Aave was one of them. These coins, guys, we're gonna be watching them technically, definitely, but the whole point of my altcoin portfolio is something assets that I feel comfortable holding regardless of if they perform. Things that I really actually believe in. And so Aave, I'm definitely gonna be cashing my bags. I'm gonna be taking profits. I'm gonna be paying myself, of course, but I'm gonna be holding on to some of my Aave probably forever. A couple of them for sure. Like why not? This thing could just kind of keep on going. And there's gonna be more cycles within crypto. And reminder, crypto altcoins hit their highs a month after Bitcoin hit its all-time high. So hold these alts all the way through Bitcoin, all the way through this year. If you're really serious about these projects, you're not just looking for quick flips, that's okay too. Those opportunities are available. But, like I said, I'm going to be taking profits on the way up, potentially scaling back in more if we get pullbacks. That's what we're watching for. That's why we mark these up. Looks like Aave is going to 200, 250 right now, right? Your opportunity pullback was here and was here. Maybe we get up here to 200 to 175 and you come back down back into this territory at 125, 150. So I'll always be pointing out opportunities to potentially get in a little more on your dollar cost averaging. But again, these are plays of altcoins that I'm gonna be holding for the next year. So we're holding them, we're chilling, we're holding these all the way through this ride up. Uniswap. I got this popular demand. Uniswap. Oh my God. So that $5 key level, huge. See how we poked above it on that initial day. It airdropped, came below it. This accumulation, we broke the structure, accumulated again, popped up. I had your absolute sniper zone there. Those zones are like, they look cool when the money comes in and just snipes it. Oh, my internet is connection disabled. I hope I'm good now. Can you guys hear me all right? Can I get a one in the chat if you guys are hearing me, if I'm all right? Cool. Thank you, Eduardo. But yeah, Uniswap looking good. If you get down here, pull that freaking trigger. But even at $5, look at how we got above it. We kind of struggled it, got in there. That $5 at key level, $10 Uniswap could be on the way. We had a nice little pump here coming into Uniswap, getting back up at $6. You had your opportunity. Mike even called this one out in the chat. We sleep that liquidity. Yeah, we're looking prime. We're looking prime. Synthetics. This is one I've actually not been too high key about, but it's been doing so good. It's been doing so good since we broke structure. Yeah, Synthetics is an amazing project. I'm looking to actually take some profits really, really soon on this one. And then, you got Urine Finance. Urine Finance broke the structure, tagged our zone. And it's looking good, looking ready to make an all-time high. A lot of these cryptos, guys, I think when Ethereum finally gets above that high, when Ethereum breaks it, it's like it's signaling the alt rally to me. Like go real, like all of these coins to break new highs, and a lot of them are. Some of them already are at new highs. Like synthetics is one of them. You know, Chainlink has been approaching that high, but you know, it's they're in very similar situations. Ethereum is right beneath its all-time high. Chainlink is right there. You know, has some of those other coins that have been out there. You know, Cardano is a little bit behind, but you know, same old here, guys. Same old here. Just keep on buying, right? Just keep on buying, keep on dollar cost averaging in. You guys already know what to do, you know. So I'm gonna open up the last 10 minutes for questions. And now's the time. Guys, I do lots of one-on-one sessions if you want a one-on-one, you know, just to like set up your crypto portfolio, gain some understanding, maybe build a plan for yourself.